Welcome back to Chasing Omaha. I'm your host, Matt McGowan. I told you we were going to get him. I promised you we were going to get him. I knew that was huge. Tennessee, Vanderbilt, the biggest Tennessee fan I know. Mitch, welcome back to the show. I know you're from California, but you're all over that Tennessee Vols team. And dude, so pumped you could be with us. And I promised everyone you'd be here, so I'm glad you didn't make me a liar.
Yeah, no, Matt, thank you so much for having me back on, man. Super pumped to be back. Obviously, a big series for the Rocky Top boys. Playing Vandy, big Tennessee rivalry going on, and yeah, man, it's awesome. So glad to be back. Glad to not disappoint the listeners. Um, you know, I'm pumped to be back. I love talking it, and I love when my team working out.
That you're here. Tennessee, I mean, let's get into Vanderbilt actually first. Vanderbilt comes in with 11 game winning streak. They're doing all right. They're tearing it up. They're getting back on track. Tim Corbin has them playing the right way. They get to Tennessee and it's a buzzsaw. I mean, it's a different caliber of team. It's a different echelon of the league. And I think right now you're seeing two teams extremely dominant in two different ways in the SEC. And Tennessee definitely handled the business they needed to handle.
Yeah, Vanderbilt was on a good track, hit a little skid a little bit, getting beat up last week against Georgia was tough. That's a good Georgia team. They got the Condor kid who's
Condon, yeah.
absolutely Condon. I'm sorry, Condon. You're right. Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, that guy's a one man show. Like it's just awesome to see him play. That guy's tough. And coming into Tennessee, it's tough to come in and or for Tennessee to come there. And it's tough to play that caliber of team. It's tough to try to sweep a team like that, let alone come away with a series win. They did win one game. Second game was tight, 6-7. That second game was tight. It was a good game going on, good pitching, a lot of good offense going on. But Tennessee proved why they're number one team, right? Tennessee came in, they handle business, they get the big series win that they need. And they're doing what they were expecting to do all year. They start off the year mid-ranked, and they've proven. I've been on the bandwagon. All the listeners know that. They've been riding the train, and they're proving why they're the number one team in baseball.
The fact that Tennessee hasn't sent you all the gear possible is is it's a shame. It's a shame.
It's a shame. I'd be wearing it right now.
I know.
I'd be all orange and white and everything. And their black hats are sick too. The gear is awesome.
Yeah.
I would be wearing it. No, 100%. But
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that they're doing well. Obviously, that's my pick to click. That's my team.
We got to get on the SID or somebody over there to make sure that we can get Mitch Kellock some Tennessee gear because that's ridiculous.
What was that?
We gotta get the SID to send out some gear to you because that's insane. That's ridiculous. You've been all over them all year and
without a doubt.
Kentucky. I mean,
yeah.
number
no,
two.
I'll take it. I'll take whatever I can get. But yeah, obviously that's the big game.
Kentucky, the number 2 team, wins 2 extra inning games. Base running is huge for that program, and they showed why they dominate and why they should be the number 2 team. I mean, pitching, defense, small ball, hit and runs, everything they are asked to do, they do, and it's a team that's fully bought into the process. That you can see that in every game because they don't think they're out of any game.
Yeah, Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky. Mitch, did it break up on me?
Yeah, Kentucky. Super gritty series. A lot of resilience, winning 2 games in extra innings. Game 2. Yeah, he was breaking up on you for a second there. But yeah, no, you're Kentucky, amazing series. 2 games that they win in extra innings. Goes 10 innings first game, 10 innings a third game. Showing a lot of grit. showing resiliency, right? Being able to come up in those situations and come away with big wins. They're getting hot at the right time. We're getting to that part of the season where it's who's hot and who's not, and they're winning the right games, and they're getting hot.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. Um, it's a team that I see that's going to cause a lot of problems when they get to Omaha because they're going to do the little things the right way. The base running is huge. I mean, they steal bases, they're always looking for the extra bag. And I think that that's something that some teams are not going to be prepared for. And I think that it's going to be really, really tough for some teams to be able to handle when you're in a really tight ball game. And now, not only do I have to worry about a pitch or something that oh, I got to make this pitch, I can't mess this up. I have to worry about, oh man, is this guy going to steal? Is this guy going to do the little things that truly um, make it really tough for a pitcher to focus in and hone in? Because Kentucky's extremely tough, man. They really do it the right way, and it's really fun to watch. We're having some technical difficulties with Mitch. I see him and I hear him, but I don't know what's going on. Let's make sure we're on this. Hold on one second, everybody.
Matt, can you hear me? Hello.
I can.
Okay, you're breaking up on me there. Sorry about that, buddy. Last thing I heard is Kentucky playing great baseball right now,
Well,
right? Playing great baseball.
I was saying how hard Kentucky's going to be if they do make it to Omaha because of the way they run bases, the way that they are always looking for the extra base. And a kid, in that situation, first time in Omaha, trying to make a pitch, and then having to deal with base runners, it's going to be really tough. It's going to be something that I think some teams will do okay with, but some I think will just not understand how to handle.
100%, 100%. And I'm a big believer, right? We coach, and I think the thing I tell every team that I coach is you're going to have to win the one-run ball games. You're going to have to win those tight ball games. That's what championship teams do. And they're winning those gritty one-run ball games right now. And I think if they get to Omaha, it's not going to be their first time. They're in these pressure situations. They are able to come up with these big wins and extra innings, things like that. And I think it's going to propel them to a different level. They're going to have a little bit more comfortability and confidence in those situations where who knows how these other teams are going to handle that, and I think that's a big thing. And they've been doing it all year, right? That's why they're in the 2 spot, and they're playing great baseball.
Yeah, they're super gritty, like you said. That's a great word for it because they do things that are fun. They do what a lot of the high school teams are doing, right? You're stealing bags, you're base running, you're bunting, you're hitting and running. It's not, you know, LSU baseball where, hey,
It's not vanilla.
we're
Yeah,
runs, we're gonna hit the 2-run bomb, we'll be okay.
100%.
It's fun to watch, man. They are extremely fun to watch. Talking about LSU, I brought them up right now. What did you think about the weekend on LSU? Because I know we're talking mainly SEC right now, but the SEC had great baseball all week, and LSU goes down to Tuscaloosa and loses some games that I thought they should have won.
Yeah, no, LSU is not the LSU of last year, right? I think that's the reality. I think we've seen that all year, the ups and downs, the consistency on the mound, the consistency at the plate, just not been there. They're competitive, but they're not winning games they're supposed to, like you said. Very shocked going down and losing like that's in Alabama. Um, but you know, you've seen that, right? They had the hype this year. They had coming off of last year with Dylan Cruz and Paul Skeens and all the stuff. Tommy Tanks is on the watch list for Golden Spikes. And I don't know if the hype was too much. Things went to someone's heads. There was no proof in the pudding from an early stage on, and everyone was just waiting for it to click. And unfortunately, it just hasn't. It's just one of those things that they're gonna just grind through the rest of the season and see where the chips fall.
Yeah, it's tough too because the talent's there. I mean, there's no
You're LSU,
there's
yeah,
no doubt about where the talent is and how good they can be. But it's not clicking. It's not something is going on. It has to be a locker room issue. Maybe it's maybe Skeens being an Air Force guy coming over, just being a leader and understanding what leadership is about made it different. But right now it kind of looks like they don't have anyone that they can rely on, right? Like
100%.
they go through the games, they're getting down in games, and it's not like, hey man, like I got it. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it. I'm the guy. I'm gonna shut it down, or I'm the guy. I'm gonna get this big hit. And yeah, Tommy Tanks and some of these guys do it. Um, but the reality is, it's one of those things where they need the entire team to buy in, and I don't.
yeah. And Matt, now it's funny. It's almost the flip side of Kentucky, right? Where Kentucky's winning those one-run gritty ball games. LSU's losing those one-run ball games. They're losing those one-run ball games because of a one situation or a key situation here or there, or the big hit. They're just not getting that, right? So, when I talk about that, that's a good way to look at the flip side. Is that's LSU. They are probably 12 hits in a season away from winning 12 games,
Yeah,
having 12 more wins. And that's just the difference. That's baseball, man, unfortunately, especially at that level. Like, opportunities come every once in a while, and you got to cash them in.
yeah. You bring up a great point. Um, you're seeing baseball late in the season right now getting divided into pretty much two two conferences, right? It's really two conferences that I think if a champion doesn't come out of these two conferences, I think you and I will definitely be shocked, but I think everyone would be shocked in the sense that I mean, it's SEC or ACC. I don't see any other component, which again, if you're a gambling person, if you go to Vegas and you put money on the top 7 SEC schools and the top 5 ACC schools, I think you're gonna win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's SEC, it's ACC, up and down the board. Top 10, 9 of the teams are SEC or ACC. You got Oregon State there in the 8th spot. But then again, it's Oregon State. They're playing Pac-12 baseball. It's a little bit different, and not to dog on Oregon State because they do come up and show up when those moments have been big in the past. But if you're a betting man and you want the front, it's ACC SEC, man. It's just where the baseball's at. It's where the good, consistent, high level D1 baseball is in those two conferences.
And you're going to get some schools. You're going to get a Dallas Baptist. They're going to shock some people. You're going to get a Coastal Carolina or a Stony Brook like we have in the past. You're going to get somebody to shock one of these teams in a regional or a super regional, but it's not going to be up and down the board. It's
No,
it's going to be one team. It's going to be
yeah.
maybe two max.
To get to the super regional, you're going to see one underdog, like big underdog, no one saw coming, get to Omaha. I think two get into a super. I think that's just the way it always goes. You're gonna get two of these shocking teams that get out of the regional. They're gonna go to the supers, and one of those is gonna end up in Omaha. Couldn't tell you which one right now, but it's gonna be one of them. And then that's when things happen. Who knows?
Yeah, and obviously, Texas is going to have a chance in whatever regional they're in, or an Oklahoma, because that's good brand of baseball. I mean, we're not saying that they're not a team that can beat you, in a series or in a regional, because they definitely can, because they have the depth to do it. But we're just not seeing the consistency on a week to week basis that we're seeing from some of these other teams that are in the ACC and SEC.
Without a doubt, 110%, 110%, without a doubt.
And I think it's going to make it fun going down in the stretch, because I really think you're going to see the conference tournaments and things like that, especially for the mid majors. You're going to really see who can hang on the mound and who can hang at the plate for some of these teams because again, there's going to be an SEC team and an ACC team and probably a Big 12 team in 80% of the regionals. All right?
Yeah,
You're UC Irvine, if you're Oregon State, if you're just hoping you're not in a regional where it's two SEC teams or
without a doubt.
two SEC and one ACC team because then it's a real tough uphill battle because you don't have depth that some of these teams have.
Yeah, no, it's funny, Matt. I was watching. Shoot, I can't remember who I was watching. It was a mid major, and they got a guy rolling out there, 80 it starts with an 8, and that's their Saturday guy. I think it was Saturday. We were watching a Saturday guy, and the the thing is that can play on one day out of the year. That's not going to play every day out of the year. And hopefully someone gets lucky. But it's just tough when their other guys are rolling out mid to up nines and your Saturday guy starts with an 8. It's a different game.
100%. We got to talk about some. I got to bring it up about high school baseball and the pitching. You brought up a great point. We're up to the break. This is Chase in Omaha. We're here at the Baseball Blue Book Studios. If you haven't checked out the Baseball Blue Book, make sure you do it. Also, too, you guys got to check out this baseball playground and their new shirts that just came out. Mitch, did you see those shirts?
I did I saw one of the shirts and I now own one of the shirts. Absolutely. I love them.
Yeah, no,
So good. I got the Cannon. Check out the Cannon. Check out the Nuke.
yeah.
They're awesome. They killed it. Y'all get them. They're going to go fast.
Yeah, no, it's going to be crazy. But if you haven't seen them, you got to see them. But yeah, we're going to talk about the Baseball Blue Book, Baseball Playground, and all the fun stuff coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Chasing Omaha. I'm your host, Matt McGowan, here with Mitch Kellogg, the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend. Um, we're here with the Baseball Blue Book Studios. Shout out to the Baseball Blue Book. Everything that they do is amazing. They got an app that is going to revolutionize baseball. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. They're going to become the biggest resource in baseball. I'm telling you right now, what they're doing is going to separate itself. Think of LinkedIn and think of it baseball, right? I mean, it's going to have everything. So definitely check it out. Mitch, before the break, you brought up some mid majors throwing, 80 to 90. And that's, going to be really tough when they face some of these teams with a lot of depth. Um, why is it that teams like CSUN, teams like um, Cal State Fullerton, and then
Rutgers.
there's teams like Rutgers, Maryland, um, you know, all the New York schools, I mean, there's so many. Why is it that these schools can't keep guys in their own backyard? I mean, if we're looking at in our area, right? I mean, Division 4, which is the fourth highest division, right? So that's in California it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right?
Yeah.
Middle of the pack. It's fourth division. There's a kid, Boston Bateman, left-handed, out of Camarillo High School, who's 6'8". They call him Sasquatch. He's going to LSU. He's throwing 95 miles an hour, 95 to 97 miles an hour. Okay? Now, I'm not saying they could have got Boston Bateman, right? Some of these, C-Suns or mid-level guys, because he's a one percenter, right? But their number 2 throws 93, okay, and is going to like Oral Roberts. Why did these guys not go after him? How do they miss?
It's crazy, Matt. So this is the thing about, and for our listeners, the West Coast is a little bit different compared to the East Coast, obviously. But for the West Coast, 8 years ago, those guys would all be going to UCLA or USC or Arizona or one of these other big Pac-12 schools, right?
Yeah.
This is how you know the shift has gone away from the Pac-12, the West Coast baseball, to the SEC and the ACC. This is why, because the player knows where they want to go. They want the environment. They want the locker room. They want it all, and they want the experience of going away and all this stuff. And they also see the product. The product is you're seeing SEC, ACC schools in Omaha year after year after year. These kids in high school now don't remember the heyday of Pac 12 when it was Fullerton with Vanderhook and it was Savage was in the supers every year and all that stuff with UCLA and Arizona with Bobby Dahlbeck, coming up big. Those days are, Oregon State even that's not what they grew up seeing. That's not what they're seeing now. They're seeing these SEC guys, so that's their goal. They want to go play SEC baseball. They want to go mix it up with LSU on a weekend at Alex Box Stadium against Texas A&M in a packed house. Like that's what everyone wants to see, and it's something that CSUN can offer. It's something that UCLA, UCLA is not selling out the stadium on any given night. You know what I mean? It's just a
About
totally different breed of baseball, and I think you're seeing that with all these kids migrating that way.
CSUN, I mean, excuse me,
What was that,
UCLA can't sell out a game, and half of their
Matt?
state.
Can you hear me,
I can hear you. Um, CSUN
Matt?
can't. CSUN can't sell out. I mean, UCLA can't sell out half their games, and half of the people that are on that field are homeless.
Yeah.
Okay, the homeless population is horrible at UCLA, and they can't sell out games. I mean, it is absolutely atrocious the amount of
Oh
things
yeah.
going on at UCLA because John Savage, don't get me wrong, he's a legend and he's a legend in this area, right? A lot of people want to play for him and a lot of people think that what he says is truth. And as a coach, we all respect what he does, but I think the way that he went about it and the way that he doesn't want to transform into what today's college baseball society is the reason why they're not relevant. And they're not going to be relevant. They are going to now become the LMUs and some of these they're going to become a mid-major. And it's sad because it's a really great atmosphere. It's a really great school, and a lot of people love it. My wife went
Yeah.
there; she loved every minute of it. But
Well,
they're going to become irrelevant.
yeah, and you know what's funny, Matt, is you look at the coaches, right? Like, for instance, LSU, right? Not the best year, but last year, national champions. Who did they get when Maneri steps down? They went to the best Pac 12 coach there was in Johnson and took him and said, hey, come be part of the SEC. You're going to be part of it too. And it's from the top down, right? And though, like, that's the goal. That's what it is, They want that. The coaches want that. The players want that. Savage is part of the old guard. The Augies, the Vanderhooks, the Maneris, the this and that. Like where they're not going to change. They're set in their ways. That's just the way of the brand of baseball that they do it at. Where the younger coaches are going to go to the places that are going to adapt and let them adapt, and that's what you've seen.
Yeah, I think you see a lot of freedom for these young players to be who they are, pimp the home run, throw the bat, have a personality, have a brand, which I think is different. At UCLA, there's no brands. Cameron Kim, I love Cameron Kim. I think he's a stud baseball player. We've had him on a podcast and we've had a lot of UCLA guys that talk about, hey, this is the way it is and we really like it. But it's the same reason why Rock Riggio who committed to UCLA in 8th grade, decided not to go to UCLA because he wouldn't be able to be expressive and be himself. And I think that is something that you're going to see more and more. And I think that's why you're seeing these kids go to these schools in the ACC, the SEC. They're on TV every week. It's hard to find a Pac-12 game. And
It is.
I have every channel. I watch college and they're so it is so hard to game. Where ESPN Network, ESPN Plus, those games are on everywhere.
Yeah.
It's sad. It really is sad. And I think these mid majors are
Yeah.
only get lower
Absolutely.
and it's going to keep going down and down. And it's going to be interesting to see what the Big 12 and the Big 10 can do, because losing Texas and Oklahoma is going to basically in baseball, make it a 2-tier league with everyone else hoping to get into a regional.
Yeah. That's what it is. Without a doubt. 100%. Without a doubt. Can you hear me, Matt? You broke up on me there for a second.
Oh, technical difficulties. I don't know what's going on. We're gonna fire the producer after this, but
Yeah.
we'll definitely get it. I'm just kidding. We're not firing you, Jacob. Relax. But Mitch, on this show we've talked about a bunch of different things, and chasing Omaha right now. Who's your early pick to have a reasonable opportunity that's not in the top 10 to make Omaha?
Ooh. Ooh. You know what? It's a team that I've liked and I've talked about quite a bit. They've been in and out of the top 10. They've been flirting around with it. I like Duke. I like Duke a lot, sitting in the 13 spot. I think they're gonna have a good chance. They have never been amazing, but they've been consistent. They've been absolutely consistent throughout the year. They're 8-6 versus top 25 teams. Not the best that you want to see, but it is what it is. But I like their brand of baseball. I like the way they play the game. They go out and they play the game. They got a good pitching staff. They're gonna pitch it. They're gonna play defense, and they're gonna swing, and they're gonna produce runs. Tough weekend this last week, but I think they bounce back. I think they have a good chance to make Omaha.
I think they've been struggling because I think that their coaches and their team has relied so much on their relief pitching because it was so dominant.
Yeah,
And I think you can see it's kind of burnt out. I think, if they can get a week or not even just a couple days where it's like, hey, we don't need to use these guys. Let's just rest and rock and roll. I really think you're going to see a completely different, um, juiced up team, because that bullpen is nasty. I mean, and they're really, really tough, and I think that
absolutely.
once they're fresh and ready to go, which Omaha might be able to give them, if they can win some regionals and get through some guys, I really think you're right. I think they have a really good chance. I think they're going to be really competitive. Um, I really want to see, and I really hope that we could get a UC Irvine or an Iowa or a Big 12 team
I
or
you
Big
know
10.
it's funny, Matt. If I had to put money on it, I knew you're gonna say UC Irvine. Because I want to see them too. I want to see UC Irvine back in the big stage, man. Elliot Surrey, a kid that I played against in high school, and UCI went last time. It was awesome. I would love to see them back on the stage and be out there and playing.
They just do things that are so fun to watch because it's so fundamental. Now, it's runner on first and second. We are bunting 100%. Don't care if it's the four hitter, and that's stuff you just don't see anymore. And that's why they're tough and they're consistent. And that's another reason why I think it might be difficult if they can get through the regional. Obviously, it's going to be really tough, but if they make it to Omaha, I think they're a tough team for the simple fact that you got to know your bunt coverages. You got to have pick plays. You got to have all these things in order because they're going to do all those things that are going to keep you on tilt. And that's some stuff that I think, it is really interesting for some teams. Yes, the Wake Forest, the LSU's, the big Arkansas, they're bruisers, man. They're going to come up there. We hit a 3-run home run because we can, because everyone in our lineup can hit one. That's just not the way UC Irvine's
Yep.
built. And, and that's probably why essentially they won't make it. But I would love to have them make it because I think that brand of baseball being on the big stage is something worth watching. And I think it'll show these little guys that are 5'9", that grind, that didn't have an offer from UCLA or these big schools in the area. Hey man, you can play, you can do it. You just need an opportunity. And I feel that so many kids watch these big games that are on TV. They're 6'3", humongous guys that, maybe just doesn't fit the bill for them personally, where you can really see some of these, mid majors with some guys that can really play and really ball out and have fantastic opportunities later in life playing pro ball because of an opportunity in Omaha.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. It's fundamental baseball, man, and it's a lost art that's starting to make its way back, which I'm super pumped about.
I agree. I think base running, bunting, hitting runs, it's all it's underrated, and I
But
think
it's coming back, Matt. Look at the pro game. Look at the pro game now with stealing. The amount of bunts you're seeing. Look at the way the Arizona Diamondbacks played baseball last year and had a chance. Look at these other teams that are now buying into that, and I think it's starting to make a resurgence. I think the long ball's still big, obviously, but they're starting to manufacture these runs just a little bit more, and I'm super pumped. And I think it's the college game's gonna trickle down, right? It's gonna trickle down to that.
you're absolutely right. And I think a great way that you can showcase talent, especially if you're a 5'9" guy like myself. And, I had an opportunity and I thank everyone who supported me and helped me get to my goal and, live my dream and got a contract, and it was awesome. But if I would have had something like the Baseball Blue Book or something like that, it would have been different. Or, baseball playground, man, the foolproof plan to get recruited. Mitch, you've seen it. You have guys that use it. This stuff's not crazy. Check it out. Check out the Baseball Blue Book. Check out the resources they use. It truly is life changing. I'm telling you right now. The Baseball Playground has a plan on how to get recruited. Check it out. It's free. It shows you how to edit videos if you're a parent and all that stuff. But and I mentioned it before the break, Mitch. Those tees are they're awesome, man. Like that hit nukes one, I think it's a game changer. Did I lose you? I might have lost you.
They're awesome. I love them.
Yeah, we're coming up
They're
to the.
so good. They're so awesome. Got to get them while they last. They're not gonna last long.
No, I know. I heard they're already selling out. So the guy reached out to me and was like, "Hey, you gotta get on this. I think we're gonna be out soon." And I was like, "Oh, all right, copy that." We're coming to the break. Stay with us. Segment 3. We'll get into a little Dodger hate because we have to, but it'll be fun. We'll talk a little more college baseball, chasing Omaha. Stick with us. Welcome back to Chasing Omaha. I'm your host, Matt McGowan. We've had some technical difficulties with Mitch. We lost him. Hopefully he'll ring back and get back in. But, before the break, I had to mention my little rant on Dodgers and how I live in LA and I am not a Dodger fan. My dad worked for the Dodgers 14 years. And yes, I mean, I'll root for him if I have to. My kids like them. My wife likes them. I'm an O's fan for all of you that don't know. We got some family loyalties to the O's, but I'm going to tell you this. They are so boring to watch because their first three guys are pretty good, right? Mookie Betts is phenomenal. I mean, he's so much fun to watch. He's one of the highlights of watching the Dodgers and being in this area, being able to see him. I mean, the guy is fundamentally sound. He does everything the right way. The guy hits a double, does his little shimmy shake, and then, you got Ohtani hits a ball off the wall, does his little side shake, and then, Freddie Freeman gets fisted and hits a ball over the shortstop, and now it's 2-0. So the rest of the team strikes out, and Outman can't hit. Gavin Lux, I don't even know how he's on a Major League Baseball team, but whatever it is, it's their problem. And it brings me to the point where what Mitch said earlier and what we talked about, where the game is shifting, right? Speed matters. Having a Mookie Betts matters. Having a guy that can drive runs in with Freeman and Ohtani matter. Even though Ohtani is getting paid a ton of money, obviously it's back-ended, which we all know about. But to make sure that he's in your lineup to drive in the runs is huge. And I think that's what separates them. It sucks because I don't think anyone has that arsenal in their lineup, besides them, which is going to be awesome when they don't win the World Series, because I think it'll be, everyone saying, oh, well, the experiment didn't work. But you're seeing them buy into some fundamental baseball, which is awesome. It's not the bruising. It's not the, hey, we're going to go out here and just hit home runs and things like that. It's runner on second base. We are going to bunt. We are going to move a guy. And I think that's so much fun to watch. And that's where Major League Baseball is headed. And it's in the right direction. Other big thing that happened this week is Paul Skeens, one of the guys that we talked to on our podcast, and a guy that we, are big fans of, got to start 7 strikeouts. I mean, he had to work through some things, but for a first outing, incredible, absolutely incredible. Showed that he deserves to be at that level. Shows that he can hang at that level. I thought a big comparison in the talkings that we had, amongst our coaching friends and our group, is you saw Hunter Green go from high school to the pros. Took him a couple years to get up to the major leagues. And when he was in the major leagues, it was kind of a disaster in the beginning. I mean, he was a 9 ERA. He was kind of all over the place. Couldn't really throw secondary pitches the way that some of these other guys really can spin it. And then you saw a guy who, throws probably around the same range, 100 to 102, as Hunter Green. Paul Skeens does 3 years of college, develops, learns how to be a pitcher, and he's in the pros now. He's in the major league level, and he's going to do great things. And the reason I bring that up is so many people say, "Oh man, if you can get drafted, you got to go." That's the only way you're going to be prepared for the next level and things like that. And you hear that a lot, especially in certain areas, right? Like down South Florida, Texas, California. You hear that a lot from guys like, "Oh, I'm going to get drafted. I'm going to go 3 years in the minor leagues, and then I'm going to be ready to go in at the pro level." And I don't think that's the right way to do it. I don't think it is, and I'm going to tell you why. Paul Skeens played 3 years, 2 years at Air Force, a year at LSU, won a national championship, played in front of thousands of people. Where you're going to go to a minor league team, you're going to play in front of hundreds of people. I don't know about thousands, maybe 1,000, right? In some of these ballparks. You're not going to have that college, live on your own experience. Hunter Green lived with his parents. And then now you're shuffled into minor league baseball, and you're on your own. And you didn't do college, and you didn't have an opportunity to learn, grow, find out, can you even cook? Can you even do laundry? I mean, I know you have millions of dollars, but these are essential things you need to do. So you see that with those two comparisons, right? And I think you see that with Jackson Holiday. Jackson Holiday, I'm an O's fan. I love the Orioles. I think they're doing a great job. It's about time. We had some investment into the team, but I think Jackson Holiday, I think would have been great for 3 years in college, and then he probably would have still been a first pick, maybe a second pick, because of the talent that he has. But he's going to need a couple more years in the minor leagues. I know they're trying to rush him up and trying to move him up and get him as ready to be, major league ready as fast as possible. But the reality is he's a kid, man. He doesn't know. Yes, his dad played Major League Baseball. He didn't, right? He hasn't. He has all this downtime when you make the major leagues. You have all this time on your own that you're not doing things, right? You're not hitting in your facility. You're not, you know, doing the stuff you kind of do at the minor league level, and everyone's doing at the minor league level, right? Everyone is trying to make that major league level. So everyone's like, hey, extra cage work, extra ground balls, extra time. Hey, I'm young, I'm 20, I'm trying to make it. You get to the major league level, you got and the Orioles are young, don't get me wrong, but you have guys that are established, they have families, they have wife, kids, they know what they're doing. They've been around the block. And I think that you get a guy like Jackson Holiday, if we can get him some more time, it's going to be beneficial for him. And I bring that up to bring this up. If you have the ability to go play college baseball, whether it's at the JUCO level, whether it's at the D1, D2, D3, NAIA, wherever it may be, you need to do it. Go do it. Believe in yourself, believe in your ability, and be a guy that experiences that. Because there's a couple things that I tell all my players and everyone that ever asks me about what I should do for college baseball. Number one, if you play college baseball at any level, if you played, you will always be able to coach your kid. And you're like, what, Matt? What are you talking about? What do you mean by that? I was a horrible baseball player in college, but I had an opportunity and I did it. I didn't play. I was a redshirt. It doesn't matter. On your resume, it's going to say, hey, I played college baseball. I can function with other players. I can coach. I can teach. I've been coached. I've been taught how to do things, right? And no one can ever take that away from you. You're going to be able to do that for the rest of your life, right? When the dad comes up to you or the league president goes, hey, yeah, we're looking for coaches. Yeah, I'll coach. Okay, what's your experience? Oh yeah, I coached college baseball, or I played college baseball. Oh, awesome! You're automatically in, right? A second thing, go for the life experience. The friends that you will make are guys that you will bond with for the rest of your life. I was so fortunate having guys that came from so many different backgrounds that it made it so much fun for us to kind of get to know each other, understand where we're from, what we're about, what we like, what we dislike. And it developed traits for me later on in life that allowed me to adapt, right? I teach, I work, I do these things. I have to adapt to people every day, and it allows me the opportunity to go, oh yeah, I understand where you're coming from. It's different. It's a different culture. It's a different upbringing, whatever it may be, socioeconomic class, whatever. Hey, I can adapt. I can adjust. We'll figure it out. And the last thing too is if you can go out of state, you need to do that. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. I left California. I went to a school out in Maryland, and it was fantastic for the simple fact that I learned more about myself in those 2.5 years than I could have ever anticipated because I had to be on my own. I had to do my own laundry. I had to make my own food. I had to fix my own car, get my own tires, figure it out. And it was great because I drove across country. I stopped in little places. I learned how to essentially be a man. And and nowadays, oh, that's a crazy take, but it allowed me to grow up and it allowed me to be somebody that learned from mistakes, understanding I made mistakes, was able to make the mistakes in an area where I didn't have my parents calling me every day being like, "Oh, why did you strike out 3 times?" or "Oh, why did you get out? Why did you do this?" It allowed me to, hey, I had a bad day, I failed. You know what? I got to figure out a way to to push through. And it was awesome. It was fantastic. It's the best advice I could give anyone. If you can play college baseball, number one, do it. If you could play out of state somewhere, do it. Mom, dad, if you're listening, allow your son that opportunity. Give him a chance to play somewhere, right? Don't hinder his ability. Hey, you know what? Go to Kansas, go to Iowa, go to these Midwest schools that would love to take some guys, you know, and become, you know, a self-sufficient player, right? Become somebody that has to study, has to manage your time. It's going to create work ethic, and it's going to create a sense of understanding that you can do it, you can adapt, and it's helped me so much. And it's helped everyone. I bet everyone who has a similar story would say the same thing. Because when you're on your own, whether you're living on your own as a young adult, um, you have to you have to deal with adversity. You have to deal with problems that, hey, I can't call mommy and daddy to fix it. I have to do it and get it done. And I think that's huge. And I think that's the best part about college baseball is you're seeing these players grow right in front of you. We're seeing it at, heightened, with some of the top prospects and the top athletes in the world playing baseball at the college level. And yes, they're on TV and we get to watch them. And yes, we don't know their personal lives, but we get to see them develop every week, especially someone like myself, Mitch, you know, all the people that are highly invested in college baseball. You're seeing that growth week to week. And I think that that's huge. And I've said it in the past, I'll say it again. If you haven't checked out college baseball games in your area, go do it. Drive the 20 minutes, drive the 30 minutes. I guarantee that's the furthest you're going to have to drive to get to a game. Whether it's a junior college game, whether it's a Division One, D2, D3, NAI, whatever it may be, it's a 20-minute, 30-minute drive max. But it's great baseball. It's a huge community builder. And I truly feel that it really shapes the way that baseball is being played, throughout the country. So definitely check that out. Definitely do that. Um, and I bring it up every show, and I've talked about it a couple times already too. Baseball Blue Book, you got to check it out. If you're into baseball, and if you have a child, no matter what the age is, it's your duty to check this thing out because it really is it's going to be a game changer. It's free right now. I don't know how long that's going to be. I'm hoping it's forever because it's such a fantastic tool. But if you're not in that book, I'm telling you, you're not benefiting from a great resource. It truly has so many things that you can ever want and ever ask. Um, Getting back into college baseball, Omaha this year is going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be something that I think is going to help the sport grow in a way that it is growing. You saw it with Caitlin Clark with women's basketball. You saw it with Paul Skeens last year. You're seeing these sports that weren't getting the recognition that I felt that they deserved, and you are seeing that now because of the talent that's being displayed. And if you're not watching college baseball, you're missing out. You have to do it. You got to get on it. It's been fantastic this year. Watch a regional. Pick a regional. Get a bunch of friends together and get a bracket going and pick something. Make it fun. Make it a point of emphasis to make sure that you are staying involved, because if you're listening to us, you obviously like college baseball. So it's going to be something that's very special this year. I hope we can get another Paul Skeens type person. Um, there's some guys in my mind that I think would be a great fit for, that type of hype. You're obviously going to have the Tommy Tanks. You're going to have, the Charles Condon and things like that because the stories are so great. But there's going to be teams that emerge that I think people don't know a lot about. And I think that it's going to be awesome to watch. And I think it's going to be something that is going to separate, this sport moving forward. And I'm just so glad. If you like what you're listening to and you want more of it, make sure you check us out on the Baseball Blue Book. Check us out on the baseball playground, right? The baseball playground. I'm a part of the baseball playground. We have a great platform. We have podcasts that have a ton of guys. We had Paul Skeens on there. Ton of college guys. Ton of now pros. Rock Riggio, Jacob Wilson. Ton of guys. It's something to look at. There's some great material there. There's some free resources. Definitely make sure you look at it. And I'm telling you right now, there's these shirts that are going on that we're a part of. That the design is unreal. Check it out. I think you're really going to like it. If you're a baseball player, you're going to love it because it's going to separate. I'm telling you right now. The Hit Nukes one, I think, is the coolest t-shirt that I've ever seen. So I'm just glad that we're a part of it and we were able to be a resource for that shirt and that design because it is awesome. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on all the platforms. Like, follow, subscribe. Chasing Omaha, Baseball Playground, Baseball Blue Book. Check out all the platforms. It's college baseball. This is the best. If you have any questions or you got any rants, I want to hear them. Get after it. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Another great week of baseball coming ahead. Let's rock and roll. See ya.